87?
87-ish somewhere, and I sold it around 88.
Oh, that's nice trade, man.
Just a quick something. It feels like today's going to be a bit of a... Well, actually, that being said, I mean, the Asia and the London sessions are really tight on most of the charts. So maybe we get some bigger move during the New York session, or maybe not.
Yeah, I think we'll get some action. We've been consolidating on everything, and it's time for some action.
Oops, there I go again. Good morning, everyone.
Hey, good morning.
Morning. Good morning. Nice trade on the oil futures. I was looking at the same thing this morning. Everything is at all-time highs or very close. So I'm really of the impression that something's going to happen at this level. That's what I'm waiting for. Actually, I should be on the other chart over here. So this was crude. So obviously the opposite of crude, not all-time low, but it's definitely a recent low. So this double bottom here was a really good entry. Who was saying that? Hamza, I think, right? So that was a nice trade here for the long, but now it's a triple bottom, right? So what do we do over here? I'm looking. I've got an alert at the highs over here for MNQ. The liquidity is right above it, so this is absolutely the level I'm waiting for. I took a very quick short earlier on MNQ, and I didn't get to take my 3R, and I got out of break even. It just wicked down, and I was basically still setting up the trade. Went to my 3R and then came right back up. So I got out of break even because the move had already happened. If you want to see how it happened, actually, here, let's go to the 5-minute, and I'll show you my reasoning for it. Start new. There you go. So that was the big drop right over here. Put in a fair value gap. So the latest impulse move is lower. So I started the fib at the highs. Reversed right here. Went to a smaller time frame. So that was my my fib there. I put a limit order in at 17. So that was the low. I put a order in at 17. It got me in. It almost wicked me out. Right over here. My stop was right above the 61.8. My take profit, I was still setting it up down here, still calculating the 3R, putting on this tool, and right there, it just came right back down. After this big long red candle, I'm going, you know what, I'll get out if we break lower, and it didn't. It just came back, it came down to 3R almost exactly, and then came back to my entry. At this point, I will take the trade off. I will not leave my stop there because the move happened, right? The 3R move happened. Now we're retracing back. There's a possibility that we hit the 50 again and move down, but the trend still is higher, right? And that's especially when I try to get the 3R. I'm not aiming for more than 3R on pullbacks. So anyway, that was me this morning, break even, unfortunately. Yes. MNQ is crossing now. So it's right before the open. Good luck, everyone. If you're trading, I want a level.
Something's happened.
Yeah, it's
wow.
It's just taken off right now. But is that a liquidity sweep? Part of me would love to short the tops here because it was just having trouble. Yeah, this is on low volume. It was having trouble making new highs. But I will wait for the first, at least for 15 minutes, probably the first half hour. Let's see what the market wants to do.
This
Sorry, go ahead.
market open. I'm thinking. No, I was wondering why the price spiked down. It's just the market open.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just that's just the open, and right, trying to figure this candle out right now, right? Spiking up, spiking down, and there's people getting into positions here, and it's, from experience, it's just not worth it. All right, let's see. We were just above the weekly high on the MNQ. We're not quite there on MES. So let's see, and the same move happened in MES, the one that I just described. It was a 3-hour trade. But now I'm waiting to see an impulse move. I want to see a 5-minute fair value gap form. So I'm going to try to use these for the bigger picture. So I don't know if anybody else is looking at anything else. Please don't hesitate to share and ask questions if you have them. If nobody's saying anything, let's go over here. So today's Friday, May 29th. Economic calendar. There wasn't much. There's a little bit of news in Canada this morning, but other than that, there's not much. There's Chicago PMI at what is it, 945. So this might move the market a bit. So that's something to, if you're in a position, be careful at 945. 5 things to know. They're basically saying the same thing. Stock futures are rising. You know, we're hoping, hoping for a deal in the Middle East. Everything is really strong. Major stock index is on track for another month of solid gains. Dell soared like 25% with earnings yesterday. I was watching this and it was incredible. Gap sinks, and Bezos, yes, one of his rockets absolutely got destroyed on. They weren't trying to launch. I think it was just a test. And no earnings scheduled for today. So financial juice. This was breaking news that GDP was a tiny bit lower than forecast. Yeah, really enjoying the financial juice. I'm actually considering going to the elite just for information purposes. $69 per quarter. That's really not much. You know, that's what for me in Canada, about $20 a month. Not bad. So let's reduce this and let's look here. Could be shaping into a kangaroo tail rejection. Could be. However, there's less than a minute left. It would have to close at the bottom here and then make a new low. And to be honest with you, I would not take it. I would take the retest. So if we reject here and start selling, I would wait till later on to put a fib on it and see if we actually are selling. I do not have an alert here yet. I will put one on here. If we broke up above the weekly high on MES. Gold is also approaching a weekly high. So that's also where I want to pay attention. So putting an alert on that as well. Crude, if it were to come back down here and test it for a 4th time, might be interesting. So setting an alert here as well. And my alert went off already. So and I'm watching MNQ on my main screen here, so I don't need an alert over here. Looks like we're going to be taking out the liquidity at the top. Are you guys in any positions?
I'm short gold. I tried it once before the market opened. This 45.60 was really big. I got stopped out when the market moved up, and then it rejected, so I took it back short.
Yeah. Good luck with that. Thanks for sharing. MU all-time highs again. So these are very, very interesting levels right here. That's what there is absolutely tons of room to the left because we are at all-time highs on MES and MNQ. Gold is not all-time highs, but there is lots of room to the left. The weekly high is just above here. We are wicking into it and failing to make new highs. So this range right here is too difficult to trade for me. The trend obviously is higher. So going short is a bit difficult, but a pullback could happen. So there's the break of the high on MES. I want to see how it forms. I'm going to bring it up. No, actually, I'll leave it there. So we've got MES over here, MNQ here. And then I've got the Qs and SPY, gold and crude. So that's what I've got on the screen now. Hello?
Sorry, can you hear them?
That's okay. That's cute.
They're in the garden playing.
M2K in Golden Zone upside. Let's look at it. Let's go. Whoops, where's my window? There it is. M2K Golden Zone. Let's take this out. So as far as I'm concerned right now, there's no place to put a fib unless you're looking at higher time frame from yesterday. Let's take this alert off. We're far away from it. So if you were putting in a fib on the daily, and this is more swing trading because when the fib is that long, or that wide, I should say, your golden zone is going to be way further. So if you're using this entire day as an area, then yes, that is a pullback into it. And the golden zone or your stop would have to be down here, or even if you're going to go that far, below these wicks over here would probably be safer. Right? So this is a very wide stop. So if you were to get into this, can you get to 3R before getting to high day? Right? That's what, because high day is possible resistance. So this, if that's your stop, then you get to high day, you've got 4R. So yeah, it's possible. Possible. You know, and these, like, they do work on the higher time frame. I just tend to take them less just because they are wider stops. But yeah, that's a good analysis. Looking at the 15 minutes. Yeah, I'm staying on the 5 here, but it's the same thing on the 15, right? If you look at the 15 over here and then you see it dipping down, right? And if you're looking at an entry on the 15, well, your entry would be up here, right? And your stop would be down here. So then 3R is, you know, way the heck out there. So that's why I do not use the 15 as an entry model unless it's a swing trade, right? Or a position trade. So yeah, thanks for sharing. On the shorter time frame, you're looking at these small fair value gaps have been made. I wouldn't call this necessarily an impulse move. This candle here was definitely selling, but it got bought up. Right? And knowing that the 50 is right over here is a good idea, right? Especially if you're planning on going short, but then you see that the daily fib 50 or golden zone is right where we are right now. So it's very possible our likely area of support, you know, as well as this fair value gap. And so is this massive fair value gap over here. EQQQ, all-time highs. There we go. I'm going to go back to my 6th screen. All right, so we're buying. All right, this is the breakout right here. And, you know, do we retest? It's done quite the move already, but MNQ and MES have just been ripping. So do we continue moving? Last day of the month. Or do we have trouble finding buyers and start pulling back? That's what I want to see at this level. I want to see what the buyers and sellers are doing. There's the Crude CL. Let's see what it does. Yeah, wow, my goodness. So let's just look at MES for the time being. Over here, let's look at MES. So we knew that this was a level over here. It broke out of it with momentum, but it did not retest. Right, I'm on the 1 minute right now. So the breakout, actually, let's go to the 5. Right, so this is the breakout. You would want it to come back and retest this area. But if we go on the 1 minute, right, this is where it started. That's where the move started. Put a fib. That's where it started. Right, and then I'm going to go candle by candle. See, does it come down and retest 50%? No, not so far. But I'll leave this here. Right, for now, it looks like it's just going to make a new high again. And we'll see, does it come down here and retest? And retest the entire golden zone here is right in an area of what was resistance, could very well become support now. So I want to see what happens at this level, at the pullback here. You know, for a long time, I had trouble figuring, you know, thinking that, you know, we can't be going up any higher. We're overbought right now. There's, you know, we're at premium. Who wants to buy at premium right now? A lot of people. And the shorts that are trying to short this stuff, they're the ones that get burned. So I'm going to go back to my 5.
Every pension fund in the world.
Yeah.
That's the ones that buy all-time highs. It does not care one bit.
They couldn't care less. They think they're liquid. And they're looking at selling at, you know, 8,000. Right? Or not.
Oh, never selling.
Or not selling, yeah.
God, I hope my pension doesn't start selling. Yeah, I'm liking this fib right now. Right? I started it at the beginning of the impulse move. Right? The impulse move started on this candle, and now we're making new highs again. And, you know, I'm going to stop moving it because we don't know where the high is. We got to wait to see a pullback. But that is a big fair value gap. And then this is a massive fair value gap. I mean, it's
I mean, some gaps are bigger than this. So when I say massive, I just relatively speaking to, you know, what we were seeing before getting up here. So for my Kangaroo Tail reversal setup, this wicked up. If it were to close down here, you know, that would be one of my criteria, but it needs to be at a level. There is no level up here because we're at all-time highs. Right? If you look left, is it a level of resistance? Well, we don't know. We haven't been there. So this is a very difficult short to take, according to the way that I trade on my rules. How's Tarek's? I think he was in a short.
I went out of it, Jill, when it started holding the 45.54, and it reversed from there, never gave anything back.
Yeah, if we go to a smaller time frame over here, so it's micro time frame double top, right? We have a top, and then we came down. You would assume there'd be support over here. It broke down below support, hence that big red candle over here, right? So a lot of stops were being taken out over here. And then the next level, you would assume right around this area over here. Let's put a rectangle, right? So if you follow the candles, this was a resistance and then became support, right? So can we break down below this area? Apparently not. Not right now, right? And we're making higher lows. So it doesn't mean that it can't happen again. So I want to be alerted if it goes above the high a day. Right, so the trend is definitely higher. That imagine that that double bottom that I described yesterday. You know, getting involved in this and holding. You know,
I bought this on the bottom yesterday, but I sold it too early. I just took the up move. I was just looking for a quick pullback. It gave the pullback. I went out of it, and that's it. And looking at it today, that was 4,400.
You got over here?
Yeah, I bought this one.
Yeah, you're in the time zone here where this consolidation here put in a nice little double bottom. I don't know if you were here when I was describing it yesterday. This happened at 2 a.m. or sorry, 1 a.m. my time, Eastern time. So, you know, I was not at the computer. But it put in a nice, not a perfect, but a very nice double bottom at a level of possible support, right? It was support the day before. Right? Came down, chopped around here, you know, find an entry over here, stop below and aim for 3R. Or if, you know, if it's in your plan, you can aim for more. Right? But if you get to 3R over here and then it retraces back to your entry, I mean, that's a hard pill to swallow. It's hard to hold over here. So it's very understandable to take profit. Right? It's hard to hold for massive moves. Yeah, MNQ is, let's go back to the 5. There's no slowing down right now. There's absolutely no short opportunity. And there's no pullback yet for long opportunity. So fibs would start at the beginning of the impulse. The impulse started right at the open. And, you know, for now, that's the top. Right? There's a lot of buyers that were left with more buying to do over here. Now that we're at premium, There's a lot of those buyers are still waiting with their orders over here. There's also sellers. There's also people that got in, over here that are looking to take profit, and they're hitting their profit target. So there's going to be some selling at the top as well, which will possibly bring price down. What I taught in high school was in high school business class was supply and demand. That's all that this is. When you strip it down, this is at its simplest supply and demand. It is, are people buying? If people are buying and there is a frenzy, price will go up. It happens with products, and it happens with stocks or ETFs or indexes. Could you please comment on MCL 15-minute fib on the downside? MCL 15-minute fib. So the first or the most recent selling I saw was over here, right? If I go back, you're saying 50. Sorry, that should not have been on the 1 minute. Right? If I look over here, right, we started selling here yesterday. Pull back. Right, so from the selling, we pull back into more than the golden zone over here. But the most recent selling started over here. So I would go right from the start of that selling candle and go to the bottom. And then I would move it to the right. We wicked up into the golden zone, into the 61.8, but not one 15-minute candle closed above the 61.8, right? I hope this is what you're talking about. Would you have traded as the candle closed above the golden zone? Happy Friday, Tony. I do not see. It depends where you started your golden zone, right? If you started at the top over here, we just wicked into it, but I like starting it where the selling started, where we broke down below this support while it was on this candle here. So that's the top and that's the bottom. If I had it right over here, right, at this point, this would have been an entry. Right, so right here at 6:15, how did I not see this? I was at my computer. I was looking at something else. This is where I took my short on MES or MNQ. I don't even remember now. So that's why I was in a short here. This is the one that I took, and it would have worked on crude as well, which is odd because crude usually trades the opposite of what happens in MES and MNQ. Anyway, so if you had gotten in there, stop above, aim for 3, right there, next candle. Right, but now that we took our profit over here, let's stay on the 15 minutes. Let's move it, and it's made a new low. Right, very shallow, or I mean it's not much lower, and not one candle has closed above here. Right? But this is definitely a higher time frame area of support. And so do I want to short? If it breaks below here, then yeah, sure. But for now, I don't like all this choppiness in the zone here. Right? It's gone in there, and I missed the move at 6:15. But if it makes a new low, right? If it starts making new lows, I would move my fib to here, because this is where we retraced for the next move. Okay, so that's the way that I do it anyway. MNQ, ripping. MES, I'm assuming the same. There we go. I'm looking at the 26th of May on MCL still. Yeah, that's true. You use 26th of May. Wow. So these are very large levels. So I don't know if this is what you mean, right? From the selling over here to over here, right, to that low, or to the low that we're at now, to this low, right? I'm not quite sure what you mean there. I'm going to take some of these lines out of here. There we go. This is an obvious level of support, possible support. Don't know what's going on the equities side. Tesla just chopping in the first 30-minute candle. Nvidia came down. Oh, look at that line that was there. Right? I'd had this over a while ago. Came down and touched it. We are in a higher range. Buy at S3 and aim for R3. Those of you that trade the cams, right? Entry would have been right here. First bullish candle after touching R3. Right there. Stop would have been below the wick. Aim for R3, 3.5R. So that would have been a good one. Don't know if anybody took that. And these levels might not be identical to what you have on your screen. It's important to know that S3 is not necessarily exactly at 213.06. It's a range, right? I would honestly look at S3 as this range. Right around there. Right? From the, or even a little bit higher. Right? That's the range of S3. But that's in a higher range. When you're pulling back and then showing strength at S3, that's the play. S3 to R3. Doesn't mean it will stop at R3, but that's the play. It's right now it's proving that it's gone to R4. So interesting price action on Nvidia right now. It's definitely at a recent high. Just broke out above this high over here. I don't know if MU and AMD are having an impact because they're just incredibly strong. Did 945 have an impact? I don't know. And by that, I mean the news. What did we have at 9:45? Did it? PMI, there it is. So 62.7 forecast was 50.3. They're not drawing it as red, so it doesn't seem to be of huge importance. Okay, going back to the 6 screens. It's down. Crude, will it give us a triple and quadruple top over here? Very curious to see if it's a short at this level. MES, I will set an alert at the 50 because it is pulling back a bit. If it makes a new low here, it's official that it's, especially on the 5-minute. It has not made a new low, or maybe it did by a tick. Careful those trying to short this. It is incredibly strong right now. I'm going to bring gold on my big screen just because it's the one that seems to be at a very interesting point of interest right now. I'm going to remove this line. This is a higher time frame target right here. Okay, so I've got that line there. So I'm not necessarily just going to short over here. I want to see, is it strong? Does it break out above this level? And if it does, then this is a likely area, likely target here for the long. There's the breakout of that level. There's the alert. I'm going to bring it back to the 5-minute. Okay, so it is definitely breaking out of this level. It's very close to a possible area of resistance. It was resistance here for a few days. Let's just grab this line and put it here. Actually, I'll put it over here first. All right, so
I'm going to take a small short on gold.
Yeah, I'd be thinking of doing the same, but I want to see a signal that sellers are stepping in. Or that we're having trouble finding buyers. Right, so it broke out of this area here. Right, the area was right there. It broke out of it, but not by much, and then pulled back. This one right here would have worked perfectly, right? Impulse move, pull back to the 50 and on. Now that that has happened, I'm going to take that off. The next impulse move was right here. So for this one, I'm going to start the fib at this level right over here and go to the top. Make it a little bit bigger. Yeah, for me, I would have to be able to get to 3R. Yeah, it'd be possible. NGC. 73. 2. So if it does pull back, if it makes a new high over here, I'll reassess. Ranathan, you're asking, Gilles, do you always enter at the break of Golden Zone? The making sure that we understand each other, that it's a 50%, right? The golden zone is a 5261.8. So that's what I use as a zone. And I'm pretty sure that's what you mean. By the break, doesn't have to break. It needs to pull into it. I will often put my limit order right above, maybe a tick above the 50. And my stop a tick or two below the 61.8. Just from experience, that's where I get most of my entries. The high is 77 point. Sorry, the high of this candle is 80.6. So I'm just going to put it exactly at the level. High 80.6. Yeah, it didn't work. 80. Oh, wrong one. 80.6. And then the low, I like using this low over here. The low candle is 65.4. Another thing that's nice about this strategy is that you can take your time, set your levels, look at it, decide. See, now it's breaking out higher. So I would have to reassess. So hopefully that answers your question about where I put my entry. So let's take this out. This I would have to move, and let's look at what everything else is doing. So we've got a new weekly high on MNQ, weekly and all-time, I believe. Same thing with MES. So let's move this to the top. My alert would have to be a little bit higher now. Gold is what I had on the main screen. Making new highs. Here we go. Yeah, the triple bottom here pre-market would have been a good entry on WTI. However, we're right at this wick over here. So we might see sellers popping in again to push this down. Right, so the high of this candle is 88.31. We just punched above it at 88.35. Spread is still a penny. Do we reject this area and then come and try the lows again? Who knows? Is it me, or is it seem very, very slow? The market seems to be moving very slowly. Just grinding. Just the formation.
Yeah, grinding. Especially the MNQ, it's just stuck to the 9 exponential moving average, and this is the first time to test it since 9:30.
Yeah.
9:34.
MNQ is pulling back a little bit, getting into an interesting area. Sorry, that's MES. MNQ doing similar. High of this candle is 35.75. 35.75 is the high. The low of this candle. Right, we didn't pull back yet, so this will be an interesting level right around here. It comes and gets into this area here would be interesting. MES similar. MES. So let me go to MES on a bigger screen. Let's go over here, paper trading. That's where I do my analysis. Paper trading would be a limit entry. It would be a buy. Stop would be below the 61.8. Entry would be
Should I do that side and the
just above.
bit cut?
And then profit, put it over here for now.
What?
I'm gonna do this side.
So are you?
Your mic's
What?
on.
Yeah, just do everything.
Just
Just do a girl stay down there.
is on. risk in US dollars. Let's just for calculation purposes. So this is saying approximately 6 contracts over here. Right, so that's the analysis here. I can put it on right now because we are pulling down. So let's just go. I'll hit the buy button. We'll see if I'll get filled. That is a paper trade. That's on MES. Then I will look at the possibility of actually taking the trade. So what's the level? 76.01.
Outside. No.
76. 50. Put the stop down here. And over here. Okay, so I'm looking at this right now. MES. Yeah, Will, that's a good analysis. Saying people have difficulty, the retail traders especially have trouble getting into positions on Fridays because you have no idea what's going to happen on the weekend. Doesn't affect the way that I trade right now because I will not be holding into the weekend. I won't be selling before 5 p.m. Eastern Standard or buying, depending if I'm selling now. Yeah, there was a little bit of a pullback, but it did not come to the 50 yet. Right, so if we make a new high over here, I will delete this order. Over here. Amazon, do you mind? I didn't finish my sentence, but you understood. You had a hot mic there. Thank you. Missed the entry on MNQ. Order never filled. MNQ. Right here. Yeah. That's a nice pull back into it. What did it come down to? The low of that candle, 44.25. Right. That's a little bit higher than I like to put my my limit entry. Right. If I decided to go on MES instead to do my analysis. Had I done it on MNQ, I probably would have had my limit entry just above, maybe 1.5 points above. So 42.75, 43.25, and I would not have been filled. Right. But you can tell that this is a level of interest. You can tell just by the wicks. Right. We are battling over here. I'm going to leave it on MES just to see what happens. This is a scary wick. Right? We try to make new highs, but scary in what sense? Well, nobody's buying over here, but they might be wanting to buy at the 50. Right? I've shown it so many times on here that the 50 is often, not always, but often an area to buy. So the buy limit is on there. I'm going to remove the alert there because I'm watching it. There you go. So my order got filled on MES. And that's the thing with a limit order is, you know, you set it, forget it, put your stop 1 hour below, and put your take profit 3 hour above. And that's what I had difficulty with in pre-market, right? Was moving the order and making sure to place the order. Now that it's made, I'm on the 2-minute over here. Now that it's made a 2-minute fair value gap over here, I don't feel as confident, but the trade is on. My stop is below at 78.98, 75. If I'm stopped out, it's okay. I am not moving my stop. I'm just leaving it there. I'm risking $90 to potentially make around 285. This is the paper trading example over here. On my real platform, it's on the other computer or on my other screen. And the high of this candle is just touching the 61.8. That's, you know, hoping that I've got the fibs in the right areas. Right? It's not an exact science. Did MNQ come back? Yeah, came back. And MNQ has taken out the 61.8. Has not closed below yet. CVD seems to be selling. Right, so there's definitely correlation between price and CVD. I don't need to look at MES. I can tell that I'm going to get stopped out because I'm looking at MNQ, and MNQ is making new lows. So MES is guaranteed to be doing the same thing. So there you go. Stopped out for -1. And then it closed. That's on a 2-minute. I like looking at the 5. We've got another 1.5 minutes. Let's see what happens with this candle over here. MGC on the 5. Yeah, MGC made these tweezer tops over here and sold off. I don't know if you were able to hold your short.
Yeah, I took a short on the 1 ounce.
What's the ticker on that again?
So 10Z.
Oh yeah. 1Z. It's not the interval. It's
my chair.
1OZ, 1 ounce. There you go. Is the price action very similar to MGC, Hamza, if you're still there?
Yeah, it's similar, just it can be different around the contract rollover date. The 1 ounce tends to roll over earlier because it's not as liquid.
Okay. And price is identical, 45.70.
Yeah.
45.70. Okay. Yeah, good. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, it's definitely at this point I would take this fib out, right? This was a long fib. Let's take this out. And now we look like we are selling. Right? There was room to the left, so I would put a fib over here, and let's see, does it come back if this is the low, does it come back into here to reload for the possibility of it going further down? MNQ closed below, but did MES close below? It did. Right. So now that this candle closed below the 61.8, I would take this off and reassess. Is it 1020? Right, and take my time. I mean, there's different things that could happen here. If over time it comes up here and rejects again, then that's a possible double top for the short. If it breaks out of this area here and retests to continue long, right? If it breaks out of here, and I can't do it like that. There we go. So this is a level of resistance right now, but with momentum, if we see ourselves breaking out of this area over here, does it come down and retest to possibly continue? So that's a possibility, right? A double top over here or the rejection lower is a possibility. B, let's do this and this. Now that we're selling, right? Is this a possibility of the sellers actually being in control and coming into the 50 and continuing the sell? Right? Different possibilities. I'm just going to see what the chart tells me. And by the way, this right now, if I had a level right here, right, look at the break and the retest to the penny. So if there is an entry there, let's look at the 1 minute for the fun of it. Right, we're right at this level here. Right, so I don't see, right, we're rejecting here. So I don't see an entry to go long. And again, it would be difficult to go long considering the short fib golden zone is right here. And you're buying into, that's a 1 minute, but does it have a 5 minute? Yeah, you're buying into a 5 minute fair value gap where the sellers were temporarily in control. Once it's there and got filled and not backing out from there. Yeah, Tony, that's, I mean, that was a hard lesson to concrétiser. Hard. I'm trying to think of the word. It's a hard lesson to follow up on, to make sure to make it concrete. Right? I'm willing to risk 1 hour to make 3. And it's okay if it goes against me. I'm not moving my my target, and I'm not moving my stop. And at the end of the day, it's okay. You know, it's impossible to win them all. Right, making new lows. I'd definitely be looking at the possibility of it grabbing liquidity down here and possibly making new highs again, because we're still, you know, higher time frame. We're bullish. So came down right.
Find a little bit of a long on the M2K.
M2K. Yeah, M2K is definitely selling, eh?
Just a small size against that last swing low.
Yeah.
Just wonder if we can catch some sort of a bounce back.
Yeah. Do you wait for confirmation on like on a smaller time frame, or?
So I normally scale in 50%, and then I will add 50% on like a strong green candle.
Yeah.
I'm just basically risking yesterday's low at the moment.
Right here.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
not fully sized in.
Yeah.
I'll just wait and see if it can actually
Yeah,
turn around.
thanks for sharing. That's a strategy that we don't talk about often, or at least I don't talk about it often, because of the trading. The way that I'm doing it right now, I'm not scaling. I'm going in with the full 1R risk, but scaling in is it's another strategy. Right, scale in. If it shows a strength, then you can add in on another marker. And I wanted to say something too about miss the entry on MNQ, order never filled. When that happens, I know I talked about it earlier. It was this candle over here. You got to be careful not to chase, because if you chase it, right? It didn't take me in, and then you enter over here. Well, look what happened. Right? It didn't go in the proper area, and then your risk to reward is completely out of whack. Right? What was a 1R, but because of slippage and you got in here, then now you're risking 2R, and your target over here is now only pretty much 1.5 R away. Right? So that's what I like about this system, is that, you know what, I don't remember if I did no, it's the wrong fib. I like this system because it's something that's easy to teach, and the levels are often very evident. Would you keep me?
Yeah, this looks like a loser.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so weak. I'm guessing something must have happened, because it's just
Well, I was curious about the 9:45 news, right? At 9:45, there was news. It was PMI news. And then we've got a Fed speaker talking. Thing is, with M2K, it is very, very interest rate dependent. And if there's any mention of interest rates going higher, it could absolutely bring M2K down. So I don't know if that was said. Let me go back to where's the news? Right over here. Too many windows open. Still this breaking. Fear index, fear and greed. Oh yeah, I can tell that. Yeah, so this Chicago PMI actual was higher. PMI is higher than forecast. Previous was 49. And then I don't see structural changes in inflation. Instead, it's been a series of shocks. So that's a good sign that there's not structural changes in inflation. But if inflation continues rising, there's a very strong possibility that interest rates could rise. And that could absolutely affect M2K more than anything else, more than the Qs or the MNQ, because those are the massive, they don't care about interest rates. They print money. So they don't need to take loans. But the Russell 2000, they're smaller companies. Here's that reversal right now. Right, temporarily, it seems to be reversing. So would you keep major trend in mind daily or hourly? Absolutely. I keep it in mind, but I don't let it influence my trades too much, because I'm only aiming for 3R. Right, so look at here this morning. Was that 6 or something? Was it over here that I took the short? I think it was right over here. I took a short. It was right from here to from here to here, I think. Yeah, right here, right at 5:30, 6 a.m. Right, so let me just print this really small one here, and let me zoom in, and then my alarm will go off in 2 seconds. There you go. Okay, so this is in answer to your question. The higher time frame is going higher, right? We're absolutely going up. But I shorted, right? I shorted it here because we had put in, right? This was above the highs. I don't remember if it was this one or this one, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it was this. I had it printed earlier, but I took it off. So I took this short, right? So I went short over here, and it made it to my 3R, but I did not take profit at 3R quickly enough. And then it just started reversing, and as soon as it got back to my break even, I got out. So I am okay taking a short, but I'm only aiming for a small move. And I'm not aiming to go to low of the day. I'm not aiming for this entire move here, right? 3R for me was between the entry at 50, right around here. Sorry, it's too... The entry was right here. The stop was there. And 3R was right over here, right? So 3R was possible in, 4 points. Right, depending on the size of your account, how many contracts you can take, because that's a pretty tight stop. But it's going against the trend, but I'm not looking for a massive move. So yeah, it is 10:30. So I am going to walk away. I'm going to set some levels. Difficult to trade this price action here, right? That is a really good run up and then V reversal on the way down. Tweezer tops possibly for the short over here. But for right now, I'm just going to keep watching, set some levels. Just before I go, I'm just going to say that the most recent impulse move is lower. So I would set a fib over here and look at where we are right now at the 50. So if the sellers are really in control, if we were to take out a little bit of liquidity over here and then sell, this could be a sell. But where are you going to? I mean, there's potential support here, 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 and then lower, right? So, and there might be profit taking going on as well. It is the last day of the month. So that plays into it as well. So anyway, all that being said, I'm going to walk out, and the room remains open. Have a great weekend, everyone. And we'll see everyone on Monday. All right. Take care. Thank you.